Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
The wings burned with my cheating ex-wife.
So this happened to me, 35M, and I still can't believe how everything unfolded. My wife Karen, 33F, and I had been married for nearly 10 years when everything came crashing down in the most unexpected way. It all started when my friend Ron urgently asked to meet me at our usual bar. "I can't explain over the phone," he insisted, his voice unusually tense. When we sat down with our beers, he looked uncomfortable, like he was about to deliver terrible news. "I saw your wife today," he said hesitantly, then showed me a photo on his phone. There was Karen, clear as day, holding hands and kissing another man in what looked like a parking lot outside some upscale restaurant. It wasn't some innocent peck either. This was passionate, intimate, the kind of kiss reserved for lovers. "That can't be right," I protested, my voice cracking. "Are you sure it was Karen?" But deep down, I knew Ron wouldn't lie about something like this. He'd been my friend since college and had always looked out for me. I was devastated but needed concrete proof, so Ron connected me with a private investigator named Jerry. This guy worked out of a cluttered office filled with filing cabinets and old coffee cups, and looked like he'd seen every type of betrayal imaginable. His weathered face told stories of countless broken marriages and shattered trust. "Vegas, huh?" he mused when I told him about Karen's upcoming business trip, leaning back in his creaky chair. "That's a popular destination for cheating spouses. I've got contacts there who owe me favors. We can set up surveillance if you give me a room number." He handed me a voice-activated audio recorder, no bigger than a pack of gum. "Easy to use. Just slip it under her car seat. Voice-activated, so it'll catch everything." Karen had told me she was going to Vegas for her company's annual convention at the Westgate Resort. What made me suspicious was when she declined my suggestion to celebrate our 10th anniversary there. "I'll be too busy with work commitments," she said dismissively. "Maybe we can celebrate next weekend." Our actual anniversary was that Wednesday, and she was choosing work over a milestone that only happens once. Before she left, I planted Jerry's audio recorder in her car. The night before her departure, I watched her pack and noticed things that didn't add up. Way too much luggage for a business trip, club attire, revealing bikinis, including an open micro bikini I'd never seen her wear, and birth control pills. Despite her claiming she'd had tubal ligation years ago due to fertility issues. The recording from her drive to the airport revealed everything. Through her Bluetooth connection, I heard her talking to some guy she called Stallion. "Last week was amazing," he said. "Plans for next week?" "Already arranged," she confirmed. "Did you tell your husband?" "Not yet, but I've got it handled. He suspects nothing." Then she said the words that cut deepest. "He'll believe anything. I could tell him the moon's made of green cheese and he'd buy it." She mentioned plans for our anniversary week that clearly didn't involve me. While she was gone, I decided to search her home office, something I'd never done in 10 years of marriage because I'd respected her privacy. Using a key I found in our jewelry box, I discovered a web of lies that made me question our entire marriage and wonder how long she'd been deceiving me. Karen had over $250,000 in her personal account, far exceeding our agreed 10% savings limit and representing years of financial dishonesty. There were receipts for lavish gifts, including an expensive men's Rolex watch worth more than my monthly salary, clearly for her lover. Most shocking were the receipts from Planned Parenthood for procedures she'd paid for in cash, contradicting everything she'd told me about her supposed fertility issues. Recent receipts showed visits I never knew about, treatments for conditions that supposedly didn't exist. But it got worse. I found a receipt for a hefty down payment on an apartment in an affluent neighborhood, along with payments for utilities and new furniture. She had an entire secret life I knew nothing about. Her computer passwords were conveniently listed under the keyboard, showing how confident she was in her deception. The emails between Karen and Greg Wilson, her regional manager, detailed their carnal encounters dating back nearly a year. One exchange from 6 months prior was particularly revealing. "Did you handle that little issue?" Greg asked. "Yep, I went and had it taken care of today," Karen replied, about termination. "Shame you didn't keep the baby." "You could have passed it off as Jason's." "I can't do that." He thinks I can't conceive. He'd figure out it wasn't his. The emails were brutal to read and painted a picture of a woman I thought I knew but clearly didn't. Karen called me a cocky accountant at a tire store and said I'd believe anything she told me. The contempt in her written words was palpable. Greg had actually suggested having sex in our marital bed, but she refused, saying, "I won't betray Jason like that," as if the affair itself wasn't the ultimate betrayal. The hypocrisy was staggering. "That idiot has no clue," Greg replied, and Karen enthusiastically agreed. Reading their exchanges was like watching strangers discuss destroying someone's life, except that someone was me. 3 months earlier, Greg had suggested she get her own place. "You could afford it with your earnings, and your husband would be clueless," he wrote. "Maybe you're on to something," she replied. "I have my own account, and Jason never questions it." The apartment down payment was just over a month old when I discovered it. I decided to contact Greg's wife. When I called the Wilson residence, a woman answered. "Mrs. Wilson? This is Jason Chandler. Your husband is the regional manager for Acme Real Estate, right?" After confirming, I dropped the bomb. "I hate to break this to you, but my wife is having an affair with your husband." Christy Wilson was surprisingly calm, asking for proof. "I can even show you where they meet up if you'd like," I offered. We met at Karen's secret apartment the next day. Christy was petite, attractive, dark-haired, and I immediately wondered why Greg would cheat on her. Using my spare key, we entered the apartment together. When Christy saw Greg's clothes in the closet, she exclaimed, "Oh my God, I've been searching for these for weeks." I wondered where his clothes were disappearing. I showed her the thank you card from Karen's nightstand. "Thanks for the watch. Looking forward to your housewarming. Love, Greg." We both broke down listening to the audio recording from Karen's car. Despite being strangers, we comforted each other through this shared betrayal. "I've suspected something but lack proof," Christy admitted. We decided to help our cheating spouses move in together by dumping all their belongings in the apartment's second bedroom. "I wasn't too careful with his stuff," Christy remarked as we finished. "Same here," I replied, sharing a bitter laugh. Over burgers at my usual bar, we discovered how much we had in common and how similar our situations were. Both met our spouses in college, married quickly after graduation, but had different desires about children, though in both cases our spouses had made the decision for us without real discussion. Christy was studying to become a CPA and shared my love of numbers and analysis, unlike our respective spouses who seemed to live only for immediate gratification. I offered to help her find opportunities in my field, and for the first time in months, I felt understood by someone. She listened when I talked, asked thoughtful questions, and didn't dismiss my concerns like Karen had been doing for the past year. That night, Karen called drunk from Vegas, slurring her words. "Hey, baby, guess what? I won the Best Salesman Award, and they want me to stay in Vegas next week to work with their agents." I knew it was all lies, but played along. "That's great news. What about our anniversary this Wednesday?" "I'm sorry, maybe we can celebrate next weekend." "I understand your work is important. I wouldn't want you to miss a big opportunity." When she said, "I love you," I could barely manage good. "Me too." Jerry confirmed what I already knew. They were actually flying to Hawaii together. His surveillance team had footage of them spending the night together, which he emailed to me. Christy and I watched it at my house, seeing our spouses enjoying each other's company in ways that broke our hearts. The pillow talk was even worse. "If I know Christy, she's probably glued to one of her dull movies," Greg said. "I imagine Jason's buried in another one of his tedious spreadsheets," Karen agreed. "His old man's company sells tires, for crying out loud." "What's the big deal?" When they discussed skipping our anniversary for Hawaii, Karen said, "It's only our 10th anniversary. There'll be more. Who cares about that right now?" Those words echoed in my mind as I held Christy, both of us crying. "Would it bother you if I spent the night here?" Christy asked softly. "No, hanky-panky. I just want to cuddle." Of course I agreed. She was the first woman besides Karen I'd shared a bed with in over 10 years, and she admitted the same about me. We fell asleep in each other's arms, both finding comfort we'd been missing for so long. The next morning, Christy made me breakfast, scrambled eggs and bacon that filled the kitchen with amazing aromas. Karen had stopped cooking for me months ago, claiming she needed time to prepare for clients. As we ate, Jerry called with an update. "Your wife and her lover boarded their flight from Las Vegas at 6 a.m. They had a layover in Los Angeles and departed for Honolulu an hour ago. They'll touch down in approximately 5 hours. That's when everything changed forever." While Christy and I were having coffee and strategizing our next moves, my phone buzzed with Karen's name. I put it on speaker and answered, but instead of her usual voice, I heard panic and chaos. Chase! She screamed over background noise and distant shouts. Plane down! Sorry! The call cut out abruptly. We frantically tried calling back but got voicemail. Christy couldn't reach Greg either. I rushed to my computer, found the airline's number, and after being transferred multiple times, spoke with someone who confirmed they were investigating reports of the crash. We'll notify you of any updates, they promised, taking our contact information. An hour later, the phone rang. Mr. Chandler, I'm calling to inform you that your wife's flight has crashed. I have no further details at this time, but we will update you as soon as we learn more. Christy received an identical call about Greg. We held each other and cried. Despite everything they'd done, we didn't want them to die. My father called from church, having seen the news. When I told him Karen was on the crashed plane with her boyfriend, he was shocked. What was she doing going to Hawaii without you? She was with her boyfriend, Dad, after a long pause. Oh my God. I'm sorry, son. Take a week off and sort things out. The news reports were devastating. The plane had descended nose first at 12,000 feet per minute after the crew misinterpreted computer warnings, hitting the water at 135 miles per hour. The entire descent took just over 3 minutes. I imagined Karen's terror during those final moments. Some spent calling me, realizing she was hurtling toward end with no escape. A cargo ship nearby captured amateur video showing the plane disintegrating on impact. There were no survivors. Christy, I said through my grief and anger, why don't you sell your apartment and move in here with me? There's a spare room upstairs, and with everything we're facing, maybe we can support each other. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Are you serious? Absolutely. Okay, but under one condition, that I share your bed. Last night was the first time in years I felt fulfilled. More than all right, I assured her. In the following months, we rebuilt our lives together. Christy sold her house and moved in permanently. We received $500,000 each from the company's life insurance policy, plus $175,000 each from the airline settlement, over $1.6 million total after taxes. I had to handle Karen's secret apartment, donating everything to Goodwill since nothing held value for me. We erased all traces of our cheating spouses, photos, furniture, everything. Closing Karen's bank accounts revealed the extent of her deception. She'd accumulated approximately $250,000 through years of lying about our financial arrangement. The lawyers explained that she'd been capable of having children all along, but simply didn't want them. She'd had 2 terminations during our marriage. One was mine, one was Greg's, paying cash to keep them secret. 3 months after the crash, Christy left her job to be with me full-time. We were deeply in love by then. One evening at Texas Roadhouse, I got on one knee and proposed. She joyfully accepted as nearby patrons applauded. It's high time you made an honest woman out of me, she whispered. Why? I asked. Because you are going to be a father, she revealed. I was overwhelmed with joy, showering her with kisses. I love you more than anything, I expressed. And I love you even more, she reciprocated. Just one request. Please don't ask me to fly anywhere. We both laughed, holding each other tight. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if Karen felt any real remorse in those final moments, or if she was just scared of dying. Did she think about our 10 years together? The promises we'd made? The life we'd built? Or was she thinking about Greg and regretting that their Hawaiian getaway was ending in tragedy? I'll never know, and honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. Either way, it was too little, too late. From the ashes of our broken marriages, Christy and I built something real and beautiful, something based on honesty and mutual respect, rather than lies and deception. We found true love in the aftermath of ultimate betrayal, and despite everything we went through, the pain, the investigations, the legal complications, the grief mixed with anger, I've never been happier. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead to the best things in our lives. Karen's betrayal led me to my soulmate,